Here are 5 things that I've learned taking my own self-portraits and tips to help you do the same at home. Keep in mind that all the pictures I'm going to use as examples in this video are unedited, except the final 2. I would never hand any of the unedited photos to a client, nor would I base another photographer's skill on unedited photos. Editing is just as important part of the process as taking the photos themselves. So here's a scoop on how I set up the shoot. I took a lot of time to set up and prep my studio beforehand. I set up my tripod and camera, including framing, exposure, shutter speed, aperture, and focus. I set up my light positions, the background, the stool that I'm sitting on, and I waited for the right time of day, which for me was nighttime, so that I didn't have any external lights from the outside of my studio coming in to affect my photos. I also tried on different t-shirts, different hairstyles, and even different earrings. So this was also my first time using a remote shutter control, so I had to learn how to operate that as well. And I'm including a link to the one I use in the description down below. Here we go. Get started with tip number 1. Know how to angle your lighting. So it took me way too long to notice that the light that I placed below eye level was pointing directly into my glasses, creating this awesome glare, and that's in a lot of my pictures. Eventually I decided to place this light camera left instead of camera right, and then it was no longer showing in my glasses. Now I'm sure that there are filters in Lightroom and Photoshop and similar programs that could probably fix this, but also zooming in on the pictures would have prevented needing to spend time during the editing process to fix this. Now my face is definitely not symmetrical. One side definitely looked better lit up as opposed to the other side, and the other side definitely looked better in shadow. Now these 2 pictures were taken with a similar angle, but different lighting. So how you set up your lighting can really affect the final picture. Tip number 2, know where to look with your eyes. So looking into the camera lens provides a nice connection. Makes the person looking at the picture want to keep looking at your face. So looking away from the camera lens can provide some mystery or mystique, something off in the distance that could intrigue the viewer into also looking in that direction. In my pictures, I like the interest that was created by looking directly into the lens, so that's why the majority of these photos were taken that way. Tip number 3, know how to angle your face and your body. Almost everyone has a good and a bad side to their face. Sitting up straight or slouching has a big impact on the photo too. Look at how taking a photo with my shoulders straight on versus angled towards and away from the camera has a different effect on these 2 photos. Your photos can change drastically just if your chin is tipped up or down. So depending on the look you're going for in your photos, just lifting or lowering your chin alone can make a big difference. Now this does lead me into my next tip. Number 4, figure out what you want to use your photos for and keep that purpose in mind while you're shooting. So I wanted to use these photos as profile pictures for my social media and my photography business. So I started with a black background thinking it would be nice and simple, and what I realized is that my hair didn't really pop against the black background. So I decided to switch to this light colored background. This makes my hair and face stand out a little bit from the background, and that's the look I decided to keep for these photos. So with this and my particular purpose also meant that I went with a friendly smile instead of a serious face, and I was sitting up straight instead of slouching. While I do love taking those pictures, me with my tongue sticking out, it doesn't represent me as a photographer very well. Therefore, I decided not to use it in my final product. But doesn't mean I didn't take those photos, because sometimes you have to break the rules. Tip number 5, break the rules and experiment. Have fun, try new things, experiment. Try breaking traditional photography rules. And don't be afraid to try things that might not work. One particular thing that I tried to use was a reflector. And it didn't seem to add anything to my photos. In fact, it actually detracted from my photos, like this one. But there are so many different faces and poses that you can try. So smile, don't smile. Look serious, look ridiculous. Use your hands. So I tried different lighting setups. I tried my lights facing one another. So I tried one behind me and low, while the other one was up high to my left. And the lights faced each other, which produced this photo. Now, a lot of these photos that I took with this lighting setup didn't look that great, but I did get a few interesting ones, and I'm glad to have gotten the good ones that I did get. So the beauty of a self-portrait is that there are limitless possibilities. If you give yourself enough time and a little bit of practice, you'll find something that works for you and your project. To take a good self-portrait, keep in mind the following. Make sure your lighting setup is appropriate, keep your eyes looking where you want to hold the viewer's interest. Make sure to angle your body appropriately. Keep the end product in mind, and don't be afraid to have fun. Here's a bonus tip for you. Don't expect perfection, especially the first time. Now, everything can look perfect on screen, but when you go to pull your photos off your SD card and onto your computer, some things may not look right. So in a lot of my pictures, I noticed once I pulled my photos from my camera onto my computer that my necklace was crooked in a lot of my photos. Now, most people probably wouldn't notice that, but it's something that I'm hyper conscious of just because I play with my necklace a lot. A lot of people are going to notice the eye contact that I had with the camera lens, my nice smile, the contrast of my hair on the background, and even the pinkness of my shirt. Now, this is something that I could try and Photoshop out, but that just seems like way too much time and way too much effort, and something that most people probably wouldn't even notice until you point it out. So in this case, I'm just gonna have to live with the imperfections of real life. So here I've included my final 2 photos that are fully edited, and I chose to represent myself on social media and for my business. I have included my Instagram in the description box below. So I had a lot of fun doing this shoot, and I feel like it made me a better photographer. Now I know how to direct another person so that they're looking good. I can use the right angles, the right lighting. I got nice new headshots for my social media and my business that are professional and show off my ability to take a solid portrait. And most importantly, I think I've learned new skills to help take my business to the next level. I can't wait to use these skills in my first studio session that I will film and upload as well onto my channel. So make sure you're subscribed so you can follow my journey to becoming a professional photographer. I'll see you next time.